Hello there everybody, I will forego my normal whimsical opening to proceedings because we have news of grave and sad importance today. A great educator, intellectual and behemoth of modern intelligentsia, Lee Edwards, has sadly passed at the tender age of just 92. You may be asking yourself who this man was. He was the co-founder of the Victims of Communism. Some people would say that he was a Heritage Foundation ghoul, and that the Victims of Communism was a joke organisation which literally had the Nazis who were killed in their invasion of the Soviet Union as victims of communism, as well, of course, most recently as having all of the world's deaths due to COVID added to their list, their laughable joke list of victims of communism. But I say nay to thee. He was a great intellectual, and I would ask, nay, demand, a moment's silence to remember a fallen hero of the battle of human knowledge. Headphones are falling off. Bollocks. Enough. Before we get copyright bollocks. How are we all? Oh, how are we all? I'm sweaty.
Stop it.
What a time to resubscribe. Thank you, Welshie Jim. Much love to you, mate. Oh, I've got to fucking retrieve my fucking headphones now from inside a crab costume. Jesus. Right. Let's sort this bollocks out, shall we? I'm alive. Huzzah! How are we all? Are we well? I do hope so. Yes. Howdy, one and all. Welcome to a special Friday edition without Christy this time. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, heartburnerino. Don't eat heavily and then get into a crab costume and sit down dance. That is not a good situation. Anyway, Oh, sweaty spaghetti. How are we all? Shut the fuck up, Coin.
Stop
you prick.
it. Get some help.
Thank you, Orgle Wargle, for resubscribing. 47 months, that is way too long. Way too long. We're on a hype train already. Fuck yes. You people are rock stars, I swear to God. If you want to contribute to that, if you want me, indeed, to finger the fresh corpse of Lee Edwards, the founder of the Victims of Communism Foundation, and presumably because they are so loose in their definitions of things, me fingering his corpse would presumably mean that they could add him, Lee Edwards, as a victim of communism, as I, a communoid, had fingered his corpse. Presumably that's how that works. I think. So if you want to add one more to the Victims of Communism by getting us to level 2 of the hype train, you can do bits messages, you can subscribe. What is this thing that I do? What is this thing? I don't know anymore. I don't know. Free Luigi. Fuck me. Amazing. It doesn't surprise me that these are things that they exist. Where we at? Boom.
The return of the sausages.
Mommy's little CEO killer. I hadn't seen that one. Fuck me. That is mental. Imagine buying that for a child. That's wild. That is wild. That is fucking wild. Oh, that's a beaut. Hang on a minute. I was with Luigi Mangione on December the 4th from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. Exactly. He can't be guilty. He was with me. We were playing backgammon and cribbage in Toxteth. Fuck it. That's an area I've heard of. And I'm willing to testify under oath that that was the case. Oh my God, why don't I own the Hunter Biden sweatshirt already? What is this fucking store? This is amazing. Look at this fucking thing. That is incredible. How do I big that up? Look at this. Let me just check. Are there any cocks on this? There are not. Okay, I think I can show this. That's amazing. That's amazing. Why don't I already own this, chat? Why has nobody bought it? Look, it's almost Christmas. I'm not saying you have to buy me this. But, like, come on. I mean, this needs to happen. Look at that. That's amazing. Incredible. Phenomenal work. Unbelievable stuff. Thank you to Swirly Curly with 300 bits. Much love. We're almost at level 2. We've almost created another victim of communism. Thank you XYZ, or XYZ if you're American, I guess. For becoming a member for just 99 pence. Lest we forget. That Hunter Biden shirt is a Hago shirt for non-weebs. I will take your advice on that. Yeah, I don't know what that really means, but thank you. Toxteth is a suburb of Liverpool. No, I know where it is. No, I'm very much aware of where it is. Yes. What's this? Mother of 3 jailed over anger at health insurance company. Oh no, I did see that, but I haven't really followed it. But it's a grim story. They really are scared. The fact that they're trying to react to anyone, even like vaguely doing copycat shit, is like
the return of the sausages.
For realsies.
It is shill o'clock. Give Kevin money. Wayward wants a kitty bonk.
Fair dues. Thank you, Wayward Historian. Much love with the bitty bits. We are almost at level 2, people. I'm so close to fingering this guy. Let's fucking go. The best t-shirt in existence. What in the name of Christ is that? Oh, how does this exist? How? I ask you. First Responder 9/11 Final
return
Fantasy
of the
game shirt. Fucking mental. Who made this? Fuck me. Thank you, Plexican, with 1,000 bits. We're now at level 2 of the hype train. I'm going to go and finger a dead intellectual. Heritage Foundation cunt. Partner push. 2020 never. Yes. Anyhow. Talking of the crab, as we were, nothing will beat, for me, the apex predator of the seas and of water. That being, of course, the crocodile. The crocodile has had millions and millions of years of evolution to perfectly hone itself. It outlived the dinosaurs, okay? To become the perfect killing machine. Yeah?
Lunchtime elite.
It's a cat with scales. Jesus Christ. Oh, I cackled like a bastard when I saw that earlier. Fuck me, that's so stupid. Love it. Absolutely love it. Oh. Have I missed the City of Shit portion of tonight's stream? No, you have not. No. I'm sure it'll be coming, though. No, it won't. Anyway, hello there, everybody. Should I do some shilling? I'll do some shilling, I guess. Yeah, you can hit the follow button. You can subscribe. You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can give subs to the community. You can do bits messages. 200 bits or more gets you a text-to-speech. You can do super chats for the Streamlabs link below. I've got Patreon, PayPal, Blue Sky, TikTok, Discord, Instagram, and Threads. That is a stiff dick of poop. Indeed it is a stiff dick of poop. Good lord. Fuck me sideways. Orgle Wargle, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Oh shit, I've got to put the fucking thing back on now. Okay, we'll do a crab dance later. Someone remind me. But thank you, Orgle Wargle. Very, very generous. Yes, I know it's the derby to this weekend, as Friends Rust. Should be fun. Two absolute shithouse teams going up against each other. Can you both lose? Is it possible for both teams to lose? I don't know, but they're going to try, I'm sure. No.
The return of the sausages.
Kev, have you heard of the Russian terrorist and all-round crazy man Boris Savinkov?
Boris Savinkov. See, I'm always worried with people, basically you fucking people in my chat. I assume that's a joke. I was thinking, Boris Sakimov? Savinkov? Does that work? Is that a pun? What's the joke here? But that could be a real person. I don't even fucking know. Basically, I'll just say, no, I don't know who that is. Yeah. Anyway. For the love of mod, could someone clip today's crab dance? Yeah, do that. Do it. Yes, thank you for the bits, Tasman. But no, I have not heard of that person. Link me a thing about them and I will check it out. Check it. Anyway, if you're on YouTube, hello YouTuberinos, you can become a member for 99 pence. You can give memberships to the community and you can do super chats, which I will read out. Fact. Alligators freeze themselves with their nose out of the ice to survive blizzards. That's mental. Nature is scary. I don't want to read about that, but thank you. Now, talking of creatures, Ethan Klein. We will get onto the TYT thing a little bit later. But on a sort of similar note of like someone who used to be sort of okay, even if they're a bit of a lib, but has crashed and burned in the last year, Ethan Klein. Formerly host with Hassan Piker, he of 9/11 fame, on the Leftovers podcast and all of that jazz. But since October the 7th, 2023, he has gone, to put it mildly, a bit fucking mental. To the point where even his own fans, and not just his fans, his super fans who, as you can see on screen, literally create fucking YouTube channels in order to make videos about how awesome they are, don't like him anymore. This person liked Ethan Klein so much they started a channel called Ethan's Basement, which was about how awesome the show was, how awesome all of the cast and crew were, including all the side characters and all the rest of it. They loved Ethan Klein. And then about 9 months ago, they just stopped making videos. After the sort of decline had become a little bit too obvious to ignore anymore. And then they popped up a couple of weeks ago with an explainer of sorts. Called Why I Can't Support Ethan Klein Anymore. That seems like appropriate slop for us, do you not think? I think so.
Well, once again, my friends, an emergency. Hey, it's been a while since I saw my face. I haven't been doing so great, so I took a little break.
So a lot of people are saying some things about me that aren't quite true. Doesn't matter if it's true, though. Just as long as it's entertaining to you.
Twitch has an anti-Semitism problem. Host Hassan Piker. You're a good Jew. Challenge him.
Look at that. Why I can't support Ethan Klein anymore, and I'm ashamed I ever did. This is one of his super fans. This person created a YouTube channel to glaze this motherfucker. And they hate him now. What is he doing? He's throwing away his entire career. Because his favourite ethno-state decided he wanted to up the genocide. And he has to defend that somehow. Anyway, mad shit. Fucking mad shit.
To do better than this.
In this video, I just want to explain why I stopped watching H3 over the past few months. What made me go from a pretty big fan of the show to, I guess, what Ethan would call a fallen fan. I've always known Ethan had his shortcomings, and I could usually look past them and still enjoy the show. But lately, it's been way too much. The hypocrisy and double standards have just piled up. So I figured, why not make a video about this to highlight what's been bothering me and why, after all these years, I've decided to stop supporting Ethan.
Why are people mad at me? I want someone, please, to explain it. Explain why you're mad at me. Go ahead. I'm dying. Please.
You're a bellend? You're a sweaty bellend? That is all.
Tell me why. I'd love to know why. If you actually articulated why you were mad at me, it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm dying. Please write it. Not even disagreeing,
I wish you were
frankly, just trying to
dying.
have a conversation. So, in short, you know, suck my f***ing dick. Echo chamber. Echo chamber.
So Ethan has been on a...
Good production values, you gotta say. He's not an untalented content creator, clearly. Yes, thank you everyone for the hype train. Much love to ya. Much love.
crusade against several creators, including his former co-host Hassan, and recently he's criticized Hassan specifically for not watching the videos or addressing the points Ethan raised against him.
Been talking a lot about my former co-host Hassan Piker and leveling some pretty serious criticism against him. I knew that he wasn't going to take it well and wasn't going to respond to any of the points made. In fact, Hassan, I'm sad to say, did not watch any of it. He didn't watch a single point I made. Instead, he took to saying that I'm crazy.
But about a month ago, I recall...
I mean, you are clearly deranged at this point. You have actual Hassan derangement syndrome. Like, actual.
Ethan having a meltdown over a video made about him from a smaller creator called Northstar Radio. So let's see if Ethan watched it and how he responded to the points made in the video.
This dude, Comrade Casey, okay, he made a video about the end of leftovers. I haven't watched the whole thing. It's long as fuck, and I generally don't like watching videos like this because it's usually depressing. Bring back the Ethan Klein channel. Bro, are you okay?
I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, clearly not. Like, I feel so of two minds about all this stuff. Because, like, obviously, you know, from a practical standpoint, these people, their level of obsession and harassment is a detriment to our lives. But, like, that's when you see under the mask and you see the person and just, like, there's obviously a lot going on.
I'm out of sympathy.
Yeah, I
fuck
get it.
Guy and
I don't.
fuck this guy forever.
You don't
with
need
the
to
cactus sideways.
I got you.
As you can see, instead of watching the video, Ethan's first reaction is to go through the creator's Reddit account and show his audience some of his old comments. I hope you are starting to understand my point, but again, here's Ethan a few days ago calling out Hassan.
Now, instead of actually addressing a single point, he stops it before he gets there. I hope it's...
Oh no, Hassan was a genuine co-host of that Leftovers show, yeah. He wasn't just a guest.
Clear to everybody just how bad faith this is right now, and how desperately he's trying not to respond to any of the actual criticism that I've made.
But let's see, maybe Ethan will give this video one more chance. After all, he's the one that brought it up during the podcast.
Well, Twitch streamer on the platform was blown.
Oh, hey guys, what's up? I'm Northstar Radio, and Ethan's a Zionist pig. It's like
Ethan hates me now.
It's like Charlie, but like not funny.
So yeah, 12 seconds in, and Ethan stops it to make a personal attack, and that's it. He won't show anything else from the video, and instead will go back to Reddit to comb through his comment history.
So anyway, this guy who made this video that's like super weird and biased towards Hassan, and
am I doing crossword clues for stream titles now? No, this makes entire sense. This makes entire sense. Former TYT hosts, we'll get onto that later, respond to bonus hole, which is a name given to a name I've decided to give to a certain turf because of their obsession with bonus hole and birthing person. A person with, let's say, an Armenian surname, perhaps. And Fash Colonel Sanders is a former Fox News host who looks like Colonel Sanders now, whose name rhymes with Shmen Schmeck.
is like mega
Makes perfect sense. It's not even cryptic. I don't know what you're talking about.
commie, tanky. So this guy looked into him.
So a video he hasn't watched is apparently super weird and biased towards Hassan, but of course Ethan doesn't have to watch or show the video. It's way more effective to just tell his audience that this guy is a communist, so his points don't matter. This is a classic Tim Pool move, by the way. So let's go back to Ethan's recent video calling out Hassan.
You can see there's layers and layers and layers of character assassination, propaganda, logical fallacies, and not one response to any of the points that I've actually made. And it seems obvious.
You haven't made any points. You've trolled on the internet. You've gone onto fucking Destiny's subreddit and just bought hook, line and sinker the shite they're selling. You sad, pathetic creature.
Obvious to me that he's trying to poison his audience against me.
Character assassination and not one response to the actual criticisms? I really wonder who would do that.
This fucking doughy white bitch is making content that is biased against me. And also apparently he hates Jewish people. Comrade Casey, you bitch-ass weirdo. You look like a weirdo. And I don't hate mustaches, but man, that's a weirdo mustache. So this guy looked into him. This guy who runs Northstar Radio, Comrade Casey, they found his Reddit account. He's a big Hassan fan and clearly developed a deep hatred for Ethan and Hila since October 7th.
So he's made a video about Ethan that he hasn't watched because it's too long.
Yeah, it's definitely other people that have created hatred since October the 7th, yeah, of course. The Zionist cries out in pain as he strikes you.
But he took the time to look into him and read every comments this guy's ever posted, and that's what Ethan will focus on to debunk the video. Now here's Ethan, just a few days ago, complaining that Hassan should watch the videos he made about him instead of relying on his chat to tell him what was said in these videos.
He didn't watch any of it, he's basing this based on, like, I guess, chat. And, you know, it's like, what do you... Talk about it or don't, man. You know? Don't do this shit.
Let's see if Ethan would rely on other people to watch the videos for him, because I have a big problem with this next clip.
He made a video. I haven't watched the whole thing. It's long as fuck, and I think everybody noticed as they were watching through it. Even
Talking of which, right, long as fuck. To the person yesterday who said I should watch the Sean and Jen, or no, they're not called Sean and Jen anymore. They haven't been for fucking years. But the Sean video about the video game, naturally, being that it's a bread tube video, guess how fucking long the cunt is? 2 fucking hours. You want me to watch a 2-hour video on stream? 2 hours. 2 fucking hours. That would take me a week to get through. Come on now. You know what I'm like. I'm poor as Andy o'clock.
and Hassan, I think, commented on it, that this video is a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
You mentioned you had watched it.
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. It is biased towards Hassan.
Even Hassan was getting like frustrated watching it, and he was confused, and he's like, "This is fucking weird."
Yeah, Hassan didn't like the video at all, from what I recall. He thought it was weird, and the more it went on, the more he kind of like disliked it.
I was so disappointed by the crew when I saw that. I don't know if it's just bad faith or if they also didn't really watch Hassan's reaction, but I will show you a clip of him talking about this video.
What is it? Oh, I gotta go. I gotta finish. I'll finish this tomorrow. I gotta do the podcast. Personal news-wise, I ended the broadcast. We watched a YouTube video that was really good, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's by Comrade Casey in the chat, also known as, I believe, Northstar Radio. Is that what it is? Is that what his YouTube name is? I forget.
Since we were talking about Hassan's chat, let's talk about it more, because that's one of the main point of criticism Ethan has. He thinks his chat should challenge him more.
It makes me sad that people in his audience let him get away with this types of like hand waving. And once again, if you're a Hassan fan, challenge him to do better than this. This is
That's fun from a guy who doesn't even allow comments under his fucking video so that people can challenge him. Again, Zionists, and I mean that entirely in the political sense. I'm not trying to break the TOS here. People who are strong supporters of Israel don't want discussion. They don't want discourse or debate. They want propaganda time. They don't want counter opinions to even be heard.
This is dishonest. And more than that, I'd like for him to just respond to one of the points I made, just directly.
The do better part of this statement is really important, because we recently had a great example of Ethan being challenged by his own chat to do better.
Truly disgusting, disappointed in you and the crew. Do better! The crew! If you had a dog, y'all wouldn't have thought twice, but it was a cat and you don't care. Shut up, you fucking freak, weirdo, loser.
So following Ethan's logic, how does he react to his...
Brilliant. I mean, honestly, one of the great minds of our age. Hello, Zakap. Everyone go and follow Zakap immediately. They're in the chat there. Click on the name, go and give them a follow. It's free, and they're awesome.
His own audience when they try to hold him accountable. He often uses 2 techniques. Here's the first one.
There you go. Comments turned off.
Also, here's a clip I found interesting from just a few days before they turned off comments on all their recent videos. It's just too good.
He also started turning off replies. Yeah.
Ooh, that's cringy.
Yeah.
Logan did?
Logan turned off replies.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know you lost.
Yep.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
But apparently another problem Ethan has with Hassan is how he sometimes loses it and yells at his chat.
I fucking despise all of you, dude.
And you know...
Yeah, I don't like the way Hassan does that either. Like, I jokingly call my chat bad names, but it is just a joke. Whereas he will literally say, like, you are the scum of the earth. You're what keeps the left from doing anything. Go fuck yourself. Like, whoa, calm the fuck down, brother.
Is it really cute the way that he like says crazy shit to his chat? I don't think it's really that cute. I don't know why people let him get away with that.
Now let's see how Ethan responded to the pushback from his chat the day after he made jokes about Aaron Bushnell, who set himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy. And
Classy. Very classy.
I want to remind you, the people in the live chat are all paying members.
Well, unless I'm misunderstanding, tell me why. I'd love to know why.
What I saw.
Because you made fun of him burning. Okay, dummy. I joke about all this shit every fucking day.
Do you? Do you joke about the people who died on October 7th? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. I think you see those people, the victims of October the 7th, as human. As above joking. That's sacred. The hostages, they can't be joked about. Aaron Bushnell can be joked about. You can laugh at what's her name, Cutie Cinderella having revenge porn or AI porn or whatever published of her. You can joke about that. That's hilarious, am I right? You can even joke about dead Palestinians. You can joke about any number of things, can't you? Except if it's about you. Except if it's about you. No, that's true. We don't joke about sausages, okay? We don't joke about sausages, okay? Because we all desperately want to release the sausages. Can we get some hashtag release the sausages in chat, please, people? Release the sausages.
And now all of a sudden you gotta get all bitched out? Like, give me a break, dude. You know, suck my fucking dick. Give me a fucking break. Look in the mirror, loser. You're the problem. You are the problem. You are. Fuck you. Fuck you people. So why are you expressing such dumb fucking thoughts in my chat? Go somewhere else. Like, seriously, if you're that sensitive. So give me a fucking break. Who's the problem? Scumbag. Scumbag. So you're
true, Dan. True.
Fuck you. Get lost. I'm sick of it.
But maybe it's just the chat that is overly sensitive, right? Ethan is known to make edgy jokes and to make fun of all different groups of people. We call it goblin mode, and that's why people love him.
Goblin!
Go somewhere else. Like, seriously, if you're that sensitive, then you need to go the fuck away and go to a community that is going to just tell you everything you want to hear all the time and never make you feel uncomfy. There's plenty of them out there. Go. It's really annoying that, like, people just...
The lack of self-awareness from this creep, honest to God, it's amazing. Thank you, Lord Fritus, for gifting us up to Shadamar. Typical French behaviour. I don't know what that means, but I hope it sounded sufficiently racist. I hope it got over how racist I wanted to be towards French people. I also can't wait for Christy to get back just so I can do jokes about how another German resident invaded Belgium. You know what I mean? Like she must have known that was going to happen, right? As soon as she told me she was going to Belgium, she must have known I was going to do an invading Belgium joke. Come on now. Come on.
They stand by it, like just waiting for any reason to call me. And by the way, why? Because I made one stupid, insensitive joke. If you can't deal with it, then, you know, you're a fucking hypocrite.
I am an Irish delinquent, this is true. I think the politically correct term is bog savage. Please.
I make these jokes about all different topics, about all different sensitive things, about all different groups of people, every fucking show. And then when it lightly brushes on your shoulder, you freak the fuck out. And you bitch, and you cry, and you go, and you try to find any reason to you know what I mean, to get angry.
After hearing all that,
motherfucker, you've tried to get several people cancelled for talking about hummus, you dopey cunt. You tried to get people kicked off a platform that they rely on, by the way, as for like a living, because of hummus. Not Hamas. Do not get that mixed up. Hummus. The food stuff.
that, I wonder how Ethan would react if he was the subject of a joke. Like he said, he makes jokes about all different groups of people. He's a free speech absolutist after all.
It's a
absolutist
panel hosted by Frogan and 4 of her friends, in which they have a tier list where they rate people where good is Arab and bottom is loves Sabra. Sabra is a very popular hummus brand. I know in Israel, it's pretty much in everybody's refrigerator, and it's kosher. They're an American company, but they've been the subject of the pro-Palestine boycott. I mean, it's kind of just Arab good, Jew bad.
Is it that? Is it that? Are you sure it's that? Are you sure it's that? Because it's definitely not that.
I told you guys to clap. This is a good reaction.
That was a good.
Also, you know it's definitely very, very serious when Vio is dressed as an egg. Copying my style in some respects, I have the crab, she has the egg costume. The person with the yellow shoes, that is an egg costume. You can't really tell because they're sat down so it's scrunched, but they are dressed as an egg. A fried egg specifically.
Good one.
We're very proud of you, Denims, for bringing anti-Semitism right on stage, and you guys are killing it. And may I point out here, Chevron, Capcom, and Samsung. Do you know that there is an Arab to Jew tier list happening?
Arab to Jew tier list? I mean, there definitely isn't. There just isn't. You're actually just what's the word I'm looking for? Lying? Yeah, you're lying.
In front of your sponsor.
This tier list isn't about being Jewish at all. Not only is one of the panelists Jewish, but in the Love Sabra category, people from all different races and religions were included alongside Ethan. It's more about not knowing much about Arabic culture and therefore eating shitty hummus.
What is it? Ramadan what?
Lena. Yeah, Ramadan Kareem or Ramadan Mubarak.
Bike?
Mubarak.
Oh,
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, God. I mean, that couldn't be more America coded as a response. Bike? What?
Mubarak.
Yeah.
You said it good.
What does it mean?
Mubarak Obama.
Happy Ramadan.
Mubarak Obama?
Mubarak Obama. Honestly, these people need to be jettisoned.
Stop it.
They need to be jettisoned.
Get some help.
They really should, Michael. You're quite correct. Thank you, Pandanus. 50 months, you fucking lunatic. Good God. Welcome in.
I want to address one last point in this video, and it's about the H3 snark subreddit. For more than a year now, Ethan has been talking about it and saying how toxic this place is, how they promote harassment, doxing, stalking, and why it should be banned.
Because I believe these snark subreddits on Reddit should be banned. It's literally fostering the most psychopathic. It encourages harassment, doxing, stalking. This is like, it's not as bad as jailbait, but it's like giving like, I have a feeling it's going to be banned, and then everyone will be like, that was insane. Why the fuck was that allowed on the website for so long? These people are literally fucking, it's cult behavior. I don't think they're allowed to like straight up brigade, so they're doing like a very loud dog whistle, being like, hey, let's put a compilation of Ethan. The whole snark phenomenon is so pathetic that Reddit allows this shit to continue, because it feels like every snark subreddit leans into like straight up psychopathy in terms of like the harassment and the intention to try to ruin somebody's life.
And one last time, let's go back to Ethan's reaction.
Isn't it just posting clips of them that sound stupid or whatever? That was my understanding. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. I'm not big enough to have even a main subreddit, let alone a snark one, so I have no idea. But
Reaction of the Northstar Radio video and how he uses his own subreddit when he faces criticism, even from a way smaller creator.
First of all, shout out to whoever did the ops on this. Lovely Callisto. Thank you. I made an Imager album of his H3 snark posts in chronological order and sprinkled in a few of his cringy main subreddit posts too along with it. So here's this fucking guy. Let's look at...
so that's just you like trying to get your massive audience of people to to fuck him over. Amazing. Amazing work. Well done. Truly.
Some of his greatest hits. He's also making fan covers and asking Ethan to bring back his personal channel. Grimace Shaken Fortnite folk cover.
How dare you, dude?
Well, guess what, bitch? I know who the fuck you are, and I'm gonna have a conversation about it. Let me take a look at this guy's channel.
Shouting out his fans for screenshotting every comment and collecting every information on this guy and showing everything live. How is this different from what Ethan says the snark sub is doing? I mean, it might be even worse because of the power of a channel as big as Ethan's.
Here's a post. I don't know. Was this the same investigator? By the way, I didn't even mention this guy, and he's like deleting his shit. You should be scared, you fucking scumbag.
Wow, that's not you trying to destroy someone's life at all. That's perfectly normal. That's not psychopathy.
Yes, he should be scared, because Ethan knows by doing that, he's sending his audience to harass this guy. Him and his crew know what their audience is capable of, even if Ethan plays dumb sometimes.
Well, I hope people don't hold us to the standard of what our community does.
Right.
What does our community do?
Wow. I don't know what anyone's doing. I don't know what's... I've never seen anything. It's very Arsene Wenger. I did not see it.
I mean, you say that, but what do they do? Our community...
I don't think I've ever interacted with Ethan, no. I've done a couple of response videos a long time ago, but I don't think I ever talked to him.
He's fantastic. It's all love.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Name one thing.
They've never caused us any trouble by... I don't even want to go there.
Well, just tell me and I can button it. Even if they did something silly, because I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure it was silly and harmless.
Oh, yeah. Just small. It's
not
normal.
Sending, like, fucking hate and death wishes to supposed friends. Anyway.
Ethan is a snarker. In fact, he's the ultimate snarker, weaponizing his audience to send massive hate waves and his crew to find intel on his enemies. By yelling at his chat when he gets any pushback, turning off comments, paying mods to heavily restrict what can be posted on his own subreddit, he's not letting any other place to have a nuanced conversation about his show or to present...
Again, Zionists don't want to have a discussion. They will pretend they do so they can get platforms that they would otherwise not get. And then they just start monologuing, and at any point that gets made, they get they try and shout down their opponent. But they're not interested in having a fucking discussion. They've got pre-prepared lines and they've got propaganda. It's just Hasbro bullshit.
Than any criticism. He's been trying to portray the people who participate in this sub as stalker lunatics, but in reality, most of them are former big fans who are now disappointed in Ethan and were banned when they tried to express any pushback over the past year.
Oh, Comrade Casey just messaged me and said I'd appreciate not being talked about on the show.
Shut up, bitch! Talk about these nuts, motherfucker. You appreciate me not talking about you?
I just
Suck
responded,
my dick, bitch.
He said I'd appreciate not being talked about on the show, and I responded, bruh.
I bet you
and
would,
I blocked him.
motherfucker. Sucks to be outed as a piece of shit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, Ethan, yeah.
How's that feel, Casey? I'm talking to you right now. Comrade Casey, we're not comrades anymore.
With all that being said, I know I won't change anyone's mind with this video, but if you felt the same way I did, just know you're not alone. In the past few weeks, all the other H3 fan channels I was in contact with for years, people who were as big of fans as I was, have told me they've also unsubscribed because of Ethan's hateful actions. That's it for this video. Take care and free Palestine.
Nice. Fucking base shit. Love it. See, Ethan? Even your super fans fucking hate you now. Was it worth it? Was it fucking worth it? Also, you can support an ethno-nationalist genocide. You fucking prick. Unbelievable. Anyway, talking of loser freaks going on a rightward grift, the Young Turks. Now, I was previously unaware of the main channel here, Dan from the internet. They seem like a cool person, but I don't want to co-sign because I don't really know. On the right, you have there Benny, formerly of the Young Turks, some questionable views on especially China. And then you have Ravana, based as fuck, except she's also a Man United fan. But now, they're both both Ravana and Benny, former TYT hosts, contributors, etc. But no longer. They are both from marginalised groups in one way or another. Benny is a trans person, and Ravana is both WOMs and I believe a disgusting degenerate bisexual. All bisexuals, myself included, are filth, but in the best possible way, you understand. Anyway, and they came on to talk about various things. This is about an hour into the actual thing, because it's like nearly 4 hours. It's a stream that they did, and they talked about our good friend Luigi. Our good friend Luigi, praise be upon him. And they talked about various other things, including, of course, the Young Turks being a bit shit. So I thought we could take a look at that. It might be vaguely interesting slop. Maybe. You know. Possibly.
The crux of a lot of this is that we're trying to talk to them in what we feel is good faith about ways their coverage is misleading or actually advantageous to the right wing. And their reaction ranges from trust us, our appeals to the right wing are actually good, to you're all evil, you're all just like 10 angry leftists or whatever, you're like lying about us, and you're a fringe cult, and it's just like not working at all. So that's like kind of the high level thing. Do you have any kind of preference of where to start?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, like, there's so many layers to it. Because with this, the whole shift that we're seeing, right? There's definitely a personal dynamic to it on top of the just political dynamic to it. Like, I don't know, like, because anytime they respond to criticism, right, like, it's always from the mindset of like, how dare you think that I'm wrong here.
And there definitely is like a personal dynamic to it. It's definitely Cenk and Anna that are like pushing this, because as I mentioned when we covered this the other day, there's no doubt that there's still, you know, good people on that channel, on that thing, and I would argue John Iadarola and Francesca are two of those people, and they had some things to say, and I would not be surprised if either or both of them are fired in the near future.
57 seconds to say that I think it is really telling that some of the contributors that have left are black contributors, trans contributors, and that is really unfortunate. And I think there's a reason for that, as we are being told that so-called identitarian concerns of racial justice, of trans rights, should not be at the forefront of a progressive movement, when in fact they should. And in fact, there is room enough, and there's always been room throughout every struggle, civil rights, LGBTQ rights struggles, the feminist movement. They've all been told to shut up and put their concerns second, and history showed that they were right and the others were not. So yeah, it's a huge loss.
Look, the break's about to come. I'll say just a little bit more on the other side of this. TYT has always been a place where we can air these disagreements and have these disagreements. I mean, you and I have had disagreements with Cenk on the main show. We probably will tomorrow. I've disagreed with Cenk about some of the rhetoric around populism. I think that, you know, maybe we cede way too much ground to the right in what I see as a fundamentally...
That cut off quicker than I thought it was going to. Cenk sucking off the richest man on earth doesn't seem very progressive to me. Just a thought.
I kind of don't think that they were expecting the response that they got from me and from trans people and from a huge chunk of the left broadly. I kind of don't think that they were expecting it as much as what they got. And I think they've maybe been spiraling a little bit in part of that, but they had already been tiptoeing in it with the you know, focusing on crime and things like that. Because like the thing that's weird is like the areas where they say, oh, this is the one area where we have to capitulate to the Republicans too. It also happened to coincide with one of the biggest things that Donald Trump was campaigning on, right? So they're like, okay, well, crime and trans people, these are the things we're going to be right wing on. And then Donald Trump campaigns on crime and trans people, right? And immigration too. They did the whole fearmongering.
Yeah, I don't think it's coincidental that they've taken money from Peter Thiel. I mean, we also know back Donald Trump, and now they start echoing the same talking points. I don't think those two things are unconnected.
Thing about immigration too. So it's wild how their strategy, their epic galaxy brain strategy that they had to run in with was, here's what we're going to adopt the primary talking points of Republicans, specifically the ongoing Trump campaign, and then claim
Ravana's still around. She doesn't stream that much anymore because she's got like real world shit to, she's got a job and stuff, but yeah, she's still around.
That we're actually on the left. And that's one of those things that I think is just deeply embarrassing. Actually, I'm going to come in with a spicy take. I think that this election was so close. There's a million reasons why Kamala Harris lost. And I've said this a million times. There's a million reasons why Kamala Harris lost. The only reason Donald Trump won was white supremacy. But revisiting the million reasons why Kamala Harris lost, look, the TYT is a big show. TYT is a big show. And they are running around hammering out the same talking points as the Trump campaign. So if we're going to have a question about who is to blame for Donald Trump becoming the next president of the United States, I actually think you take Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian out of the question in the past election. I do actually think that's enough to tip the scales. I do think that's maybe 30,000 votes between.
I don't think so. But, like, it probably would have made a difference.
The three swing states that needed to vote. Like, call it a hot take or whatever. But I'm going to be entirely honest here. Like, what we're seeing, the things with Jesse Singal getting normalized and exploding and doing this whole right-wing career. Jesse Singal was one of the people that Ana Kasparian was defending, saying, oh, I don't think he's transphobic. I don't think he's transphobic. He's just asking questions.
And now he's being used for justification for, like, I think there was a ban this week in the UK on, like, like gender-affirming care for people under the age of 18, right?
Just for trans
So, like,
people.
this has real-world consequences even outside the United States. And it's like, you can't be able to go, like, oh, I agree with you on these certain things. I agree with you on these certain things. This is how our bigotry, our misunderstanding is where we can meet in common ground. That's our greater understanding moment.
I don't think Donald Trump could have won the election without Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur helping him out. Period.
Boom.
That is a hot take.
Before we begin, there's a 30-second clip that's actually kind of perfect for that because
that's a hot take.
One thing that was kind of a bummer for me was when Anna went on Adam and Sitch maybe like a year or so ago plus, and was like saying something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing here, I would get uncomfortable talking to black people because I feel like I'm like walking on eggshells because they might get like sensitive or uncomfortable because I say something like racial or racist. I'm like,
that's such a crazy thing to say.
I was your producer for years, yo.
Wow. I didn't know he was the producer of her show. Jesus Christ. That's fucking wild. Oh yeah, did you miss that she went on the Adam and Sit show and like just agreed with these far right griftoids about pretty much everything? Pretty much everything.
I gotta feel some type of way about that.
I don't. I'm sorry. Just like even as a white person, that's not a fear that I have because I'm not afraid I'm gonna accidentally say something racist. Generally in my life.
So you should see in the group. You should see in the group chat. I'm not gonna say who on the screen is throwing out hard R's in the group chat, but it's
Bam.
Me. And Bam. No, but this 30-second clip I think is just gonna be another one in the. Oh God, I guess that did happen and I was affiliated with that jar.
Happy with me and everyone will hear exactly what they want to hear.
Oh wait, sorry. Oh wait, no, it's not sped up or sped up in the video, but whatever.
Happy with me and everyone will hear exactly what they want to hear. criminals are great. I love criminals. We should let all of them out of prison, and we should, you know, allow them to terrorize working class people when they're trying to get to work. And that's actually going to make everybody's lives better. So
yeah, and let me
if
do the
that's-
other
if
half.
I love that they're going to terrorise working class neighbourhoods. Bitch, you don't give a fuck about working class neighbourhoods. You and Cenk probably live in a fucking gated mansion fucking area. You were worried about them coming for you. That's why you're so pissed off that people are celebrating Luigi. Praise be upon him. Because you're on the other side now. You walked into the room with the pigs and the people, and now I'm looking back from the pigs to the people and the people to the pigs, and I can't tell the difference anymore. You've become the thing you despised. Bravo.
that's going to make everyone happy, then fine. Okay, I give up. I give up. Okay, criminals are great unless they're white. If they're white, we should put them in prison for the rest of their lives.
Oh my God, if they're right wing, life sentence. Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ. Is this a Fox News bit? Is this unironically a Fox News bit? Yo, the left just attack white men. They just attack white men and right-wingers. And that's it. They're just doing a Fox News bit. They're just Fox News. Absolutely embarrassing.
Okay, anyways. So I know, how dare we be principled? We should be unfair to the right. I know. We should be unfair to fellow Americans. I know. So
there's so many layers even in that, because it seemed like a great like bouncing off point of what you were just talking about, because it's just this would, if I were to use this as an example of a straw man, it would be insulting to someone who's never even heard the word before.
Truly. It's just embarrassing because they're running around. Because
oh no, I covered that last night. Who posted that? Miss Hire. I covered the TYT host quitting on air last night. Amazing. So you can go and check out my coverage of that yesterday. No, not yesterday. We can do it today, or indeed tomorrow, or whenever you like. But yeah, I did it yesterday. Maybe I was wrong about Dave Rubin. Oh no, she didn't. Oh no, Anna. Let's have a look. Oh, Jesus Christ.
They said you were quite outspoken. I'll play it to you. This is what you said when Dave Rubin pivoted. Let's have a look.
There has been this prevalence of prominent figures who identify as the left, right, or on the left, who then later start to, cozy up to right-wing figures, and then it turns out that they completely move to the right wing because they're essentially paid to do it. They're used as tools by the right wing to essentially spew right-wing talking points while purporting to still be on the left. In fact, Dave Rubin's a great example of that. Dave Rubin used to work with us. He identified as someone on the left. Yeah, go ahead.
Forgive me, Anna. Dave Rubin made a video for PragerU, Why I Left the Left.
Oh, I know.
He does not, in fact, state to the world that he's still on the left. I don't know who you have in mind, so I can only address the one name that you gave.
Is this fucking cunt dead yet? Can we get a checkup on this? Because he was in hospital last time I heard. Can Dennis Prager just like die, please? I'm not threatening him. It happens to us all. He's an old man. He's a very sick man. Can he please just die? Please. That would be nice. What is this? Piers Morgan phone hacking. Yes, must be done. Funny, not bad. Interesting that no one voted no, that's illegal. Interesting.
So, I mean, have you pulled a Rubin, as some people suggest?
I mean, I'm still pretty left-wing, and I'm still working at the exact same place. Look, I don't know. Maybe I was wrong about Dave Rubin, but I just felt that he, first of all, after he left TYT, he did lie about us, and that bothered me because we were still friends, and I didn't.
I don't want to be like too I told you so, although of course I do want to say that because I do love saying I told you so, as I've told you so before. I did predict that she would go down this route. I actually thought it'd be Cenk that would say this first. I thought they'd send Cenk out to make that kind of robust, like, Cenkian shouty argument about, like, maybe Dave Rubin was right after all. You know, that thing. But no, it's... I did predict that she would defend Dave Rubin at some point. Because, of course, they're travelling the same path he did. Dave Rubin crawled so that TYT could walk.
Understand what was going on, so I was discombobulated about what was happening with Dave after he left TYT. He did leave on good terms, so it was weird. And, you know, he kept saying that he was this classical liberal, but had trouble defining what that meant and had trouble reinforcing or at least backing up some of the claims that he was making about, you know, his newfound identity. So, look, live and let live. Dave is doing his thing. I did feel that his pivot was strange, but maybe it was sincere. Who knows?
Well, you know, it's interesting. Somebody accused me of being a phone hacking.
Maybe it was sincere. Who knows? He just got outed as being paid by the Russian government. He was being paid $50,000 a month by the Russian government to spew anti-Ukrainian lies. Anna, you're bad at this. Please stop. Has she been on Bill Maher yet? I don't think she has, no. I don't think she has. Anyway, so that's Anna Kasparian. Definitely still on the left, obviously. Maybe I was wrong about Dave Rubin. They should carve that shit on her tombstone. Maybe I was wrong about Dave Rubin. How much do I not get from the Russians? The Russians have actually offered me money not to stream. To be fair, the American government have also asked me not to stream. Wasn't it 40 grand? Oh, I apologise, J-Beck. I've well overestimated. He only gets $40,000 a month from the, or used to, from the Russian government. But maybe he was sincere. Who knows? Says the person who's taken millions of pounds from Peter Thiel to be a Conservative now. And to be fair, Raytheon didn't even need to pay me money. I was always pro-drone strike. So.
What are they really saying at this point? What are they, like, because genuinely, what are they really, how is this any different
Busquets.
from your average Fox News
Busquets.
host running around screaming that, like, Democrats are racist against white people? Like, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're just, like, couching it in a little extra language to make it seem like that's not word for word what they're saying. That's very clearly what they're saying, right? And they're couching it in all this ridiculous and her saying, like, oh, I love criminals or whatever. Like, that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. Like, also, can we be serious and recognize that a huge chunk of what is considered crime in this country just shouldn't be, right? Like,
exactly. Shooting CEOs really oughtn't be considered a crime. That's just, let's call it economic hygiene. You're just purifying the economic waters. That's all. No one considers killing rats to be bad, do they? And rats are nice by comparison. They're far less dangerous than CEOs. So,
you know, addiction is not, in my opinion, something that should ever be criminalized. It is a health issue, right? It is not a criminal issue. It is a health issue. And yet in this society, we just criminalize people. Like, a huge chunk of people who are in prison right now are disabled. A huge chunk of people who are in prison right now have some sort of untreated mental illness or struggling with addiction or, like, have XYZ factor that is a real problem that they are dealing with that they were not able to actually get any material support with, right? The truth of the matter is they are doing the standard things that Republicans do, which is to say, anybody that I think is unworthy of my time or attention, I will just say, oh, well, they're a criminal, so I don't really care. And that's it.
I mean, it's, you know, to some extent, if this is not the point that they're making, but I'm somewhat sympathetic to the argument that people will make about left-wing messaging, which is that, you know, generally the working class population is not fully on the same page as far as like decriminalization of certain things goes. But that's not the point that's being made, right? And I, as a working class person, you know, I don't like being used as, you know, like a constant example of these people don't want to have to interact.
Also, it's a prop. The Young Turks are using working class people as a prop to push their right-wing shit now. That's all.
With homeless people when they're out on the street. I take the train every single day. I take the CTA here in Chicago every single day, and my interactions with homeless people are fine. Yeah, there's homeless people on the train, there's homeless people on the bus. Generally, it's fine. And if there's, you know, they're exhibiting some sort of behavior, it's usually pretty obviously due to mental illness, and it's harming nobody. And no, it's just, for most people, the reason that they bring it up is because it's upsetting to them to see. It's not that they're actually being harmed. It's not that they're, you know, that they're being victimized by something. It's just that they don't want to see mental illness in public. And it's like, all right, well then, if that's the case, then we've got to better fund our healthcare system and provide housing to people. If that's actually, if that's your only qualm with it, it shouldn't just be that we need to remove these people.
Oh wow, they've turbocharged this shit. Cenk, I was wrong about Trump.
Welcome to Undercurrents, our daily news show from Unheard's Washington Bureau. Today's guest is Cenk Uygur. Subscribe here wherever you get your podcasts and over at undercurrents.tv for the full premium experience of the show. Now, yesterday morning, Politico Playbook, the hugely influential newsletter here in Washington, D.C., was delivered to inboxes on Capitol Hill and K Street and even down at Mar-a-Lago with a very interesting headline. It read, "The Dems cozying..."
Okay, whatever. Just give it to Cenk. I don't really give a fuck about any of these cunts. Elon Musk
Diehards, and even reaching out to Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan. Take this Mediaite headline as one example of how Cenk has been influencing the discourse. It said, "Cenk Uygur optimistic after Trump's victory. Quote, MAGA is not my mortal enemy. The establishment is." Now, on Wednesday night, he made a super viral and super interesting point on X, posting, quote, "Two amazing things just happened. First, I went on about half a dozen right-wing shows, and they all agreed we should cut the Pentagon, prevent generals from working for defense contractors, and Edward Snowden should be pardoned. Second, absolutely no one on the left believes them. So I..."
Yeah, obviously, because they don't really believe that. Because they consistently vote for the opposite of those things.
I knew we had to have Cenk here on Undercurrents to talk about what's possible during this very crucial moment for both the...
Yeah, and Cenk is... Trump is the fucking establishment. He's literally got fucking... what's his face as the Secretary of State, for God's sake. Like, what the fuck? The richest man on earth bankrolled him. How is he not the establishment?
Left and the right, as power shifts here in D.C., and the culture shifts just about everywhere else. So, Cenk Uygur, thank you for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
This episode is sponsored by Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld medical app. It action is luminized nutrition into time. Keep you off and eat. For it's possible for you to get more canceled. So I think we're gonna give it a go. Is that all right?
Oh yeah, of course. I live to get canceled. Most people are afraid of getting canceled. I live for it. So here we go. Let's do it one more time.
So, Cenk, I think you and I probably both agree the left has some good reasons to be suspicious about the right, but this is actually very real among voters and activists. When were you finally convinced?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, first of all, let me just double down on what you said there. Absolutely, they have very good reason to be skeptical. So, in the first Trump term, he talked a mean populist game, and then his major policy was giant corporate tax cuts, which is the least populist thing you could do. So he's going to have to earn credibility on that front. And now I know that the huge portions of MAGA will be like, how dare you? Trump doesn't have to prove anything to you, and he's already got all the credibility in the world, etc. Yeah, all right, brother, but let's actually do some populist things first, and that would be great, right? So I get that trauma, but guys, we're supposed to be the non-authoritarian ones. We're supposed to be the open-minded ones. We're supposed to be the tolerant ones. We're supposed to be the ones encouraging conversation, not shutting it down. Like, I feel like things have been forgotten that should not have been forgotten, okay? So now that I have, apparently I've appointed myself ambassador to Magaland, and I've got on all these shows, and I return with interesting news, so obviously it's time to shoot the messenger. So the news I bring back is, no, their voters mean it. Do all of their voters mean the things that they say? No, of course not. Do all of our voters agree on things? No. We've got, extreme left, we've got corporate left, we've got populist, we've got all sorts of different people within our spectrum, and MAGA is the same way. They have different people within their spectrum. And what I'm seeing is there is a significant portion of their spectrum that actually means it. They are populist, they are anti-war, they are anti-corruption, and then when I made...
So they're okay with Rubio being the Secretary of State, though? So I don't care if they think that they're anti-war? MAGA isn't. Donald Trump isn't.
Those specific proposals, sometimes some of the MAGA guys say back, wait a minute, this doesn't have anything to do with you. We already believe that. Yes, brothers and sisters, that's what I'm trying to explain to the left. It's not like you woke up one day and I convinced you overnight with a frickin' tweet, right? No, they already believed it. And so that's the news I'm bringing back to the left, and it has not been well received.
You said something important, that their voters are serious. Their voters mean it. Now, one of the frustrations if you're sort of populist on the right is what translates from voters and politicians to the politicians. So politicians might know now what voters want. Rand Paul said on this show a couple of days ago, Mitch McConnell is on the losing end of history. He's wrong on Ukraine, on foreign policy, and the voters know.
Well, Rand Paul can get in the fucking wood chipper as well. But did you see fucking Mitch McConnell? Old fucking glitch. Had a great fall. Is there just give me pictures. I just want fucking pictures, you twats. Busted up his fucking hand and that. Look at that shit. Crusty old bastard. Look at him like some sort of fucking crypt creature. Like, just fuck off, mate. Just retire. What the fuck is wrong with you? Look at you. Your body doesn't work. Your brain stopped working a long time ago, but your body is failing. Leave. Can these boomer cunts just get the fuck out of the way, please? God almighty. Look, he's having to be helped through. Look, he can't even fucking walk on his own. Now, don't get me wrong. Disabled people is a different thing. This is just age. This is a man's body shutting down before death.
Know it now. But what do you see on the right in terms of are politicians willing to be serious about those populist priorities of their own voters?
I see 1.5 people who are willing to be serious. So, look, when it comes to politicians, let's be clear, let's be honest. Both in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, there's a lot of proving that at least it needs to be done. They haven't proved, all right, I was going to get really crass, but they haven't proved much, let's say, or anything, really. So does the establishment Republicans still run the party in the Senate and the House? Yes. Do the establishment Democrats run the House and the Senate on their side? Absolutely, right? So can Trump break those establishment Republicans? Yes, and that's a new development, and that has not happened before in terms of American politics that I've covered. So, but does he break them for his own purposes, or does he finally break them to deliver for the base? And so some of the things that he delivers...
Well, given his entire life has been about serving one thing and one thing only, himself, why would you expect that he will change the habit of a lifetime? Also, absolutely amazing pupper action. Look at the rolls of fat on that delightful little pupperino. Absolute king. Absolute king. Good night, Mr. Peter Wood. Mr. Peter Wood.
For his base, I'm not going to agree with some of the deportations, etc., right? But other things like anti-war, that's a really great question.
Anti-war. He's appointed Ricky Rubio to be the fucking Secretary of State. He's already talked about how he wants Israel to complete the job. He's not anti-war. Stop lying.
So that's why this cutting the Pentagon question is so interesting, because every right-wing populist show I go on, every one of them goes, yeah, cut the Pentagon, cut it more. We want to cut it more than you want to cut it. And so they're not lying in unison. I know the left thinks so, and they think it's a bear trap, and they're Admiral Akbar, and they're yelling at me, it's a trap, it's a trap. I know, brothers and sisters. I've been through all those wars. I've been through all those things. But these guys aren't lying. These are the voters. These are the voters. And again, you might not agree with a lot of what they think, but on the things that we agree on, it's not a trap. It's not some sort of, like, you know, meta trap, etc. You get it, right? But when it comes to the politicians, that's the proof is always in the pudding. So if you're part of MAGA who thinks, oh, Donald Trump's an angel and he's just definitely going to do it, everything we want, my guess is you're going to have a rude awakening, right? On the other hand, if you're on the left and you think, oh, Donald Trump is never going to listen to his base, even on the things that they agree with us on, or especially on the things that they agree with us on, and he'll never do it. Well, I'm telling you, I think there's a chance that he will. And it's, again, not angelic, not overall necessarily positive, net positive, but on some things that we agree on, I think there is some chance that Trump does it. And just saying that.
Okay, I mean, he's taken Peter Thiel's money, and now he's like, let's just hand wave 20 million people being fucking deported. Because they say nice, because some of his voters say nice things about cutting the Pentagon. You're a fucking clown. And if you still like TYT, you're also a clown. I'm sorry, you've shown yourself to be precisely that.
People from public, it's we need to treat these issues, and that's never the answer that is given. It's just that we need to lock people up. We need to lock them up. But yeah, I mean, as a working class person, I just don't like always being thrown out as like, oh, they don't want to deal with these people. Like, I don't have a problem with homeless people on the train, on the bus. What I have a problem with is people on the train who play their music out loud on their phone. And those are not homeless people, okay? Those are people who are rude. Buy a pair of headphones.
True. Okay, so I have a hot take. I in a lot of cases, I blame Apple for this. Because the whole move to like wireless earbuds that people always lose, like there's a barrier to entry that people would rather just like be able to plug their thing in and be able to charge at the same time, has now created this sort of weird circumstance where if you're not willing to shell out like $100-$200 for some good earbuds, then you have to like you're like playing it out loud. And we need to be a little bit more enforcement on this. I totally agree with you. Like we hate this, but like I am blaming Apple because I feel like it. Just bring back the headphone jack, yo.
Asked what about playing Ray Vonish loudly on the train or the bus? That's fine. That's totally cool. But it was really my opinion was really colored by one time I was coming back from O'Hare Airport on the Blue Line. Shout out to Chicago, a city that built its public transportation system so that you can get to the airport without ever having to drive a car. Phenomenal city. Love this city. You can also get to Midway Airport on the Orange Line. But anyway, a family of 4 sat across from me. All of them, the 2 kids sat on iPads and the parents on their phones. All of them, whatever media they were consuming, the kids were playing games, the parents were watching videos, all out loud. So it was like dueling sounds.
Yeah, those kinds of people need to be trebucheted, just straight away. No questions asked. Same with people. If you make too much noise, there should be a decibel counter on each seat in a cinema. And if you make too much noise, you get like, do you know that bit in Austin Powers where the chair flips back and they fall into a pit of fire? That happens to you. If you make too much noise and it goes over the decibel rating, you get fucking vaporized. You are being a selfish little prick. Everyone else is there to watch a fucking movie, not listen to you. Shut the fuck up. You get told at the start to switch your phone off. If you don't switch your phone off, you get vaporized. Sorry. You have shown yourself to be incapable of conducting yourself as a sensible adult in polite society, so you need to be done away with. Fact.
Coming from across from me, and I was just off a red eye, and I was like, in that moment, I was like, should we have the?
This conversation does not interest me.
Is
I'm sorry.
most
I don't
infuriating piece of this. And I found out, we always know how, like, you know, from Wolfpack to Justice Democrats, there are always these, like, you know, maybe well-meaning, but very, like, self-important and bloviating, like, branded sort of efforts that Cenk will do, right? That are very ego-driven, and you kind of see it. And so I want to kind of go into what was the most ridiculous part of this, where he's like, it kind of goes into what is his strategy, what is Cenk and Anna's strategy by trying to reach out to these people and like hear them out, and how poorly they're executing it. So I think I have the time codes about right. My brain was kind of melting, so I might be like a couple of seconds off, but let me try to get to this piece and we can...
Why does everything involve trebuchet or being vaporized? Again, when I mentioned the trebuchet or being vaporized, or my friend Gil, who is the Irishman, Mr. O'Teen, who is has a long and storied history of being a pain in the neck. It's very few people would actually ever be considered for this kind of thing. It's extreme. And it's one of those things where it would have a deterrent effect. Not like the Rwanda thing, which didn't have a deterrent effect. This would actually have a deterrent. If people putting shit into our waters started getting trebucheted, they would soon stop putting shit in the water. It would solve itself very quickly. And I suspect the same would be true of selfish pricks chewing very loudly in the fucking cinema. I know they do it for money, but like, you shouldn't be allowed to buy popcorn at the cinema. You shouldn't eat at the cinema, in the actual cinema. I don't mind them having a restaurant as a part of the thing. So if you want before or after the thing to have a sit down and something to eat, fine. But when you go into the film, why are people grazing? Why are there people chewing popcorn? I'm trying to watch a fucking film. A filmmaker has poured their heart and soul into the lighting, into the fucking sound production, into the direction, everything about this. This film has been lovingly created as an audio-visual piece of entertainment. And I'm having to listen to a fucking prick crunch really loudly on fucking popcorn 10 feet away from me. It somewhat ruins the ambience of the experience. So no eating. No eating at all. Drinking is fine, but any slurping, you get vaporized, okay? Just shut the fuck up. If you can't shut the fuck up, don't go to the cinema. Again, you can't conduct yourself as an adult, don't go. Now again, with kids cinema, that's a different experience. Whatever, that's fine. If it's like a PG film, let them fucking scream and shout, who gives a shit? But if you're going to see a film that is marked 18... right, you're going to see a proper piece of, not adult cinema, as in like porn. Like, you're going to see something that is intended for a grown-up audience. Conduct yourself properly. It's not acceptable to me that these people act in this fucking way. Because I don't want to... Like, I feel terrible if I, like, cough. Like, sometimes you can't, you just cough, right? Whatever. And I'd probably get vaporized. That's a problem with the system. You have to allow for illnesses or something, right? But if you cough or like you can't hold a sneeze in, you can try and suppress it, but it's still going to make some noise. And I feel terrible because I'm ruining these other people's fucking experience. And you get some cunts, like, genuinely, one person answered the fucking phone. Oh, you need to be tortured at that point. Not even just executed, you need to be actually tortured. You need to be shown that this is unacceptable behaviour. They answered the fucking phone And like, to be fair, they got up and tried to like leave as they were answering, but I don't care. They were talking as they were like kind of hurrying out of the cinema screen. Like, you fucking little pricks. Like, if let's say that was a really important phone call, why are you going to the fucking cinema? If this is a life and death phone call situation, why are you going to the cinema? Wait until after the phone call has taken place. Or make sure that the phone call will definitely not happen during the experience of the cinema. Shut your fucking phone off. Sorry, I get triggered by selfishness. I really do. What movie? I can't even remember what movie it was. It was a long time ago, to be fair. And the only thing I remember, and this is the point, the only thing I remember from that is not even what the fucking film was, but this selfish cunt taking a fucking phone call. Completely ruined my experience. Wanker. Hello there, lesbian hot sauce. Everyone go and follow lesbian hot sauce immediately.
And see how we respond to this, because it was just like very, wow, this is nice, real nice. Bada bing.
I won't lie, you literally sound like my granddad. Well, you know what? Come the revolution, your granddad is one of the few boomers who I won't put in a trebuchet. I'm just saying. Your granddad has got it going on.
Show, I was on every show, and I said, what are you guys, nuts? His brain is falling out of his ear.
Okay, so he's talking about Joe Biden and, you know, being right about that, but we'll get there.
And I will not agree to being a lunatic for your agenda. So look, to me, like, look, I want to propose this as rules for the internet.
I want to hear it. Go for it.
But it's so important that both
255/ClemH Fandango with chips in with. In 2006, me and my big brother went to see Rocky 6, as if there are 6 of those movies, good God. And a group of tweens got out of their seats and started wandering around the space between the seats and the screen, sitting on the ground, playing with their phones. I was only 13 myself, but thought, fuck this. Again, those people need to be dealt with, okay? Those people need to be sent to Guantanamo Bay and being given the full treatment. Because that is unacceptable. Again, their parents, I think, probably need to be sent there as well, because they have raised filth. As well. They've raised absolute degenerates. That is unacceptable. Why are they not doing perfectly reasonable teenage activities like taking drugs in the park and fingering each other? Why have they got to ruin other people's experience of the cinema? Why aren't they sniffing glue or something? Why aren't they getting high off one puff of a marijuana cigarillo?
Both the right wing and left wing agree with this, right? So let me bounce it off you guys. Number one rule: when we disagree, we fight, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. This America, okay? We disagree. We got freedom of speech. Let's rumble. Let's brawl.
Okay, he's just like, we're criticizing him, we're showing him data, and he's like, we're angry and we're not listening to you. So that's just seems very hypocritical to me. It's very interesting. Gonna play that again.
There's nothing wrong with that.
What do you mean rumble and brawl?
I mean, of course, rhetorically, politically,
Debating.
not violent.
I'll throw down right now, Jeff. Take it easy.
Because as simple as that sounds, that was not popular with the left the last 8 years. We've invited so many people from the left, and we will always invite them, but unfortunately, they don't like to fight as much as the other side likes to fight. Okay.
Have me on. I'll tell you what a bunch of cunts you are. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, Sam Cedar was on.
How did that go?
Not well, because, you know, I mean, no, Sam Cedar did really well, but it was just like a PBD is talking about someone said in the chat like scams, like he's talking about like getting rich. I have in an earlier
He's
part
an
of the
MLM
video.
guy. That's his whole claim to fame. He's a fucking MLM guy. And that's what most of right wing media is now. Is they're just trying to buy their audience into supporting their MLMs.
Also, like, Oh, sorry.
That's why they all love crypto, yeah.
Well, because I want to touch on like exactly what they're saying here. Like, oh, the left doesn't want to fight. Yeah, no, I don't want to fight. Like, I don't want to fight. Like, why would I want to fight? Like, what? Well, like, I'm so confused. Like, you're a crazy person. If you get online and you're like, oh, I really want this. I really want to fight. Look, I don't want to go online and every post I make, if I make a post, it's like, look at my beautiful girlfriend. I love her so much. And then in the replies,
See, Citizen Brooks, that sounds nice. I'm okay with that. That's delightful. That's the world I want. But with a very strong socialist party, I guess.
Are people who are like, I don't think people like you should exist. Well, I don't want that fight. That's not a fight.
Hey, Bad Lefty as well. Good lord, they do get around. Fuck me. Is there a good channel that Bad Lefty isn't logged in sometimes? That motherfucker be everywhere. God bless.
That's not, I hate you, actually. I think you suck. I hope you have a miserable Christmas. I hope, like, you know, it's a rainy day every time you go outside. Like, I have no love for you. Like, I'm so sorry if you're coming into my replies about random things and you're trying to start a fight because you think that my existence is political as a transgender woman. I hate you. And I think it's okay for me to hate you and to just ban you from whatever, from, you know, you name it, okay? To block, to all of those things, silencing, okay? These right-wing voices who just want to engage in a discourse. I don't actually. I don't think it's worth the conversation. And I don't think that that's something that people should have to put up with. The thing is, with these right-wingers and people like Cenk, they don't have people every single day debating their right to bodily autonomy, debating their right to, you know, just exist in public. Because what about this? Okay, what if we have they sit down and have a discussion and say, should cisgender heterosexual men be allowed to have bank accounts? That's what I want to fight with. You know?
Yes, that is a thing that we should debate. Because I'll be honest with you, they should close my bank account. They should. Actually, no, I'm not heterosexual. I don't count. No, I get to have I get to have one. Yeah.
You know, let's have this argument. And anytime anybody like Cenk Uygur posts on the internet, if we go into the replies and be like, I don't think you should be allowed to have a bank account. It's actually really disgusting that you're allowed to have like a bank account. You know, clearly you're not managing your company properly. So you're proving yourself like incapable of, you know, being responsible with one. Like that would be crazy, right? That would be crazy, right? Like, but there's a better case to be made for Cenk to not be running a company than there is for me to not be able to go to the doctor, right? That was actually has more logical basis. And yet the fight that we're all supposed to be.
Anyway, we'll skip forward to the bit that I wanted to watch about Anna going on with was it fascist Colonel Sanders?
I'm going to talk to more about with Mondale soon, but what he said on Ben Dixon's show live when he made the decision to quit, like live on his show, or Clickbait Political Thirst Trap, which is all their shows, he had said that he was getting death threats because of his race, and for people to like not take that sort of thing seriously or like, you know, like poo-poo it, it's just like it is a fundamental thing. It now reflects poorly on me. And that's not to say, you know, there are people who do great work who just like kind of stay above it, and you know, their, you know, incomes are more tied to it or attached to it, but you know,
Citizen Brooks, you don't need to explain all of that to me. I don't know if you know my background, but I'm actually technically an Irish citizen. My father is an Irishman, and I've got an Irish passport, which people think I got because of Brexit. Not true. I got it several years ago when I turned 18. Because my father has always been convinced that should a war start, that his kids are not going to fucking fight for the, as he refers to it, the butcher's apron, which is the phrase that some people use for the British flag. And so he made both me and my two brothers promise that if a war ever broke out, we would go to Ireland and stay with our family there. We've got family in Kilkenny. It's for those who don't know, it's a south-eastern Ireland. And he said, "Promise me," and he made us swear that we would go to Ireland. If they ever fucked with that shit, we would all just immediately leave. Can we join your polycule if you flee to Ireland, Kev? It is not a polycule. We are brothers. That is that is a weird thing to say, Rohak. I mean, you can join. We can do a polycule together now if you want. Just me and you. Does that count as a polycule? Who wants to join me and Rohak in a polycule? I don't know.
Thing for other people who weren't making a lot and were just being very ignored, and fundamentally to their core there were other things they could do.
I meant your dad could adopt me. Well, now we can get married. Rohak, I've told you before, I've said this before, right? This counts for trans people or whoever. I am prepared to commit marriage fraud, okay? Anyone who wants an Irish passport and to come with me to Ireland when the shit hits the fan, get in contact, we'll get married. Gay people, we can do the gay marriage thing, right? Gay marriage is legal on both sides, so we can get married, and then you'll get grandfathered in, or I suppose husbanded in. I don't know. Anyway, we'll sort something out. Although, of course, we will have to consummate the marriage. But that, I mean, to be fair, I do enjoy dick anyway. So whatever.
Cool. I completely understand it. Yeah, there's just so much to it there too. But Anna is much more comfortable talking to this person who had a program in 2008. Here's what he was doing whenever he saw a black person on screen. Audio mic warning.
Glenn Beck is a real one, by which I mean a cunt. Talking of weird noises from animals, did you know that caracal cats sound like laser beams? I did not know this. Technically that's a meow. It is friend-shaped, though. You got to give him that. Shut up, Caracal.
Yeah, that's Glenn Beck. That's the person who Anna is having like civil discourse and conversation to. So, for the Mussolini strategy, here's Anna's.
Can we get some 707s in chat? Let's fucking go.
I would say like one of my grounding political values is that workers should have better pay, better working conditions, a seat at the table, unionized labor.
Which is why you're fine with Donald Trump and Elon Musk wanting to gut consumer protection and workers' rights, yeah? That's why you're okay with that, Anna? Yeah? Really? Fair enough, 255, fair enough. No, I get that.
Labor, I think, is incredibly important, which, it's something that's been decimated in recent decades in this country. But that's like my...
Yeah, yeah, they literally stopped. They've tried to wreck their own workers' union efforts. But they really care about workers' rights, yeah.
Number one interest in politics. And that's not really something that has really been favored by the Republican Party, traditionally speaking.
I'm sorry. There's just another comment that I have to respond to. How about let people express their opinion when you don't agree with them, you literal babies? Who stopped her? Who stopped anybody from expressing their opinion? How is quitting the network not an expression of an opinion?
Hi,
you are
Kelso.
literally
I would like.
saying that Mondale needs to suck up his morals, suck up his values, and shut up and not respond to...
Exactly. That's what... Whenever people say... Whenever the free speech absolutists make their point, they're always annoyed when you express your freedom of expression. When you use your freedom of expression to say, that's racist, I don't like that, that's bad. You're trying to silence discourse. but apparently that you should silence yourself. You don't get to have freedom of speech. 255. I don't fucking know, mate. I don't know. This is not on topic. Can we cease this line of discourse, please?
What's been said to the contrary of his opinion.
And I don't mean
Everyone
to be.
is fucking...
I don't mean to be mean or aggressive in that. I'm just like, I don't need the distraction. You know, I'm easily distracted.
fucking expressing their opinions. That's exactly what's happening. No one's being silenced. What are you fucking talking about?
That's one of my favorite things, because I like to also point to the microphone that is like dangling right by Anna right there. Yeah, it's like it's just ridiculous. Like, listen, if listen, they were saying that you were banned in the comments or whatever. If you're not, if you're willing to listen to what we're saying and not like just parrot your stuff, maybe just like silence and listen, because again, like, this is not the kind of place where just because you might be chatting in America does not mean freedom of speech has to apply here. You don't like it, just like don't chat.
Hey, Ravana! Whoop 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 whoop! How are ya? Everyone go and follow Ravana immediately. Yes, yeah, we were watching you talking about Anna Kasparian. I don't know why I've said it like that. That's a weird pronunciation. Kasparian.
Honestly, but anyways, here's the rest.
Unionized labor, I think, is incredibly important, which, it's something that's been decimated and
decimated by employers like you.
Favored by the Republican Party, traditionally speaking. And historically, unionized labor was something that the Democratic Party looked out for. And I don't really see that as the case anymore when it comes.
Also,
job,
this
guys.
is a quick
learned that
one.
we're all unemployed. None of us have careers.
Yeah, you know what?
Wow.
Also, to attack someone because they are unemployed is just like a fundamentally different type of politics than you and I have.
You
Like,
are
I'm
right.
not-
Majority report went off on Cenk and Anna at the end. It's linky, time stampy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was wondering about that comment. It's from this Celtic girl again. Get a job, you actual losers. I was like, when did Anna say that about you? I was like, what the fuck? I missed this shit. But no, it was the random twat in chat.
We are not the same. Again, get out of here.
Comes to the mainstream Democrats, they're certainly more corporate now.
Yeah.
They're certainly captured by their corporate donors. I think that the way that this last election went down really does show you the kind of political strategist rot that exists, the corruption that exists, and there's real tension now between the voters who want very specific policy prescriptions in order to deal with the rising inequalities that we have in this country when it comes to wealth and income.
Sure.
And then you have the Democratic Party, which is heavily funded by corporate interests and moneyed interests. And what those donors want.
And apparently the Republican Party are different somehow, even though literally we saw the richest man on earth buy the election before our very eyes. He just went and bought it. But apparently MAGA isn't the enemy. Somehow. I mean, bravo. I mean, really just outstanding, impeccable political analysis from Anna. Thank you, Lord Freetus, for gifting a sub to Ravana. Don't forget, everyone, you can gift subby subs. You can sub yourself. You can do bits messages. If you're on YouTube, you can become a member for 99 pence, which is literally no amount of money. And you can do super chats as well. Yes.
Want severely conflicts with what the base of Democratic voters want. And so this has been a growing issue with the Democratic Party. And what I see as,
To be fair, the second richest man on earth just intervened to stop the newspaper that he owns from publishing a recommendation to vote for one of the candidates, which is bad and fucked up and shows corporate control of media, but ultimately didn't really make any difference. I don't think anyone who was going to vote for Trump really fucking reads the Washington Post, to be honest. And I don't think that many of the people who read the Washington Post who were like on the fence about this were going to be swayed by them saying you should vote for her. So I don't think it made any difference, which was sort of one of the pointless elements of this. It now completely destroys any idea of political independence at that newspaper for no reason. It wouldn't have made the slightest difference, I don't think. But there you go.
Their campaign call is more and more culture war stuff, and it gets more and more extreme every...
I mean, I literally called you bonus hole in the description, or in the title of this. I don't know why I'm doing it over there when the title's down there. Anyway, in the title of this stream, because of your obsession with culture war bullshit, you've been banging on about bonus hole / birthing person for fucking 2 years now. It's embarrassing how badly you've just got fucking like turf brain rot at this point. For you to call out other people for just playing the identity politics is ridiculous.
Election cycle, and I think that they're pushing more and more people away by sticking to the corporate politics while also getting more and more maximalist when it comes to some of the culture war type issues.
No, that is literally the 30 Rock meme. I am fiscal liberal social conservative.
Earlier in the
joke.
Patrick Bet David video where like Cenk and Patrick Bet David are talking, he says, "Oh, I'm going to be more polite and not call them the radical left anymore, or I'm going to call them the maximalist left." So this is something they've probably been talking about with each other.
That's such a... I'm sorry, but that 30 Rock joke was a joke in 2009, and that's a genuine position that how many people now hold in 2024, almost 2025. Like,
yeah,
no,
it's
it's one of
ridiculous.
those things that, like, honestly, a part of this really pisses me off because.
Oh, missed you, Ray. We missed you too.
Because, like, people like Cenk and Anna like to simultaneously pretend that, like, because trans people is, like, the social issue that they're talking about in this moment. And, like, it's not subtle. They like to pretend that we're somehow, like, these rich, privileged elitists, but also at the same time, like, are just these radical, entirely out there activists.
Radical!
And I just want to point out how insane that is, because the truth of the matter is that trans rights are workers' rights, right? At their core, like, trans rights are workers' rights. I think a lot of people have this misconception.
Well, until Trump removes trans people's rights to work, and then that argument will fall flat because trans people won't be allowed to have jobs under the new. I think he's going to call them Nuremberg 2 electric boogaloo laws, specifically targeting trans people. I mean, I joke about that, but, like, I hope they don't hear that joke because they will definitely think about it.
That the entire fight for trans rights is about bathrooms and pronouns, right? When the reality is that as a trans woman in the United States, it's almost impossible to get a job. You know how many trans journalists have been quietly forced out of the industry over the past couple of years as a capitulation to these right-wing freaks? Do you know how many trans people, period, have lost their jobs because of transphobia, especially over the past year?
True.
And trans people have been finding it a lot harder to find jobs now, okay? Even more so than the, like, oh, you know, a lot of the job listings are fake. I've seen it. I know tons and tons of trans people. I've seen it, okay? It's not just me. Tons of other trans people have been slowly and silently pushed out of the field of journalism, okay? Pushed out of pretty much any field. And that is a very significant economic issue. That is a significant economic issue where trans people have to deal with systemic unemployment. And then with that becomes things like criminalization.
What was the original channel this was on? It's on a channel called Dan from the Internet. who I'm not subscribed to, but I will now because they seem okay. Which I'll post in both channels.
1 out of 5 trans women
That is a
have
stick
been
figure poop.
incarcerated at some point in their lives. 47% of black trans women specifically have been incarcerated at some point in life. So it's more than this fight that they say, oh,
Yeah, presumably they are related. James from the internet and Dan from the internet. They're a part of the famous From the Internet family. Yeah. They're a well-known New England family.
these social issues. And you know what happens to trans women in prison, right? The truth of the matter is that trans women in prisons, right, to put it the most vaguely and indirectly I can, if you want to look up the details, you can search V coding yourself. There's a little Wikipedia article about it. But effectively, the state will sex traffic trans women within prisons as a reward for male prisoners. That is a thing that happens in the United States of America today. So for the people to shrug this off as like, oh, it's a culture war issue. Oh, it's not really a big, it's just this culture war stuff. There's not these real issues that affect working class people. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty real issue that affects working class people to me.
It does rather. Very well said. Thank you, Madcat, for gifting a sub to, who was it? Modernism. Much love.
As I look, because it is so hard, what you do, what I do, there's so many words that come out of.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. There's gonna say more, but like literally, you gotta cut them off of this thing. What we're doing is so much less difficult, and than what it actually takes.
Amazing.
And like this.
I love that timing. That was really good.
Like where they're at in this like massive studio right here is so much. It's not difficult. Ray, I know you have to head out. Do you want to listen to like the last a little 30 seconds more of this? You want?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Out of us every single day, and then out of context or not worded, exactly right. The way I look at the Democratic Party or the left is that there is
the Democratic Party aren't on the fucking left anymore. It could be argued they never really were, but they're certainly not now. Not really, not at all.
The machine that is in bed now with big business.
Elon Musk bought the election for Donald Trump. I'll just keep repeating that. Like, you don't get to make the point. He's not making a bad point in as much as it is technically correct, the thing he's saying. It's bad. It's very bad because he is literally in favour of that corporate capture as long as they do the things he wants.
And that's just the crony capitalism, just the
unlike the good capitalism, which totally exists. Honest!
Vomitous kind of corruption that we all hate in either party, any party.
Right.
Then there's the average Democrat who might disagree on taxes or whatever, but they believe in the Constitution and they believe in the Bill of Rights and everything else. And I think that has been that is the majority of people.
Absolutely.
And then there's this crazy left-wing Marxist, destroy it all kind of group. And that, I don't even know, maybe 8%, 10% is that. And it's the middle people who have been either lied to so effectively by so many people, mainly mainstream media.
Which is all owned by rightoids, but okay.
But we're at the beginning in the Democratic Party, possibly, of those people waking up and going, I don't like either end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I take a little bit of issue with the use of Marxist in this context because honestly, I think that there's maybe a total of like 5 actual Marxists in this country. In reality, we're talking about individuals whose politics is mostly based on
actual Marxists,
fringe issue or some cultural
issue
issue that they have. It's not just that they care about that issue, it's that they've taken that issue and they've made it part of their identity.
I'll just repeat bonus hole, just as shorthand for you being obsessed.
The core of who they are,
Mhm.
and it's almost like what you would expect from religious zealots, you know. And so there's a
Oh.
fundamental.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's gross.
You want to get the word on that before you head out, and then Bonnie, you respond.
I mean, what she was saying there, right, is that people who support trans rights are akin to religious zealots. People who support human rights are akin to religious zealots. I mean, what is there to even say other than how dare you?
Who's the fifth Marxist? The fifth Marxist in America? Barack Hussein Obama, probably, or something. I mean, literally, Glenn Beck famously referred to him as a Maoist. Said he had loads of Maoists in the White House when he was on Fox News back in the day.
You know, how could you ever hold that belief? I mean, religious zealots are the exact
Groucho.
people who are trying to
Harpo. And
you
Beppo?
know,
I don't know.
genocide trans people in this country, that are trying to roll back gay rights in this country, that are actively attacking and her rights as a woman in this country. And you think people who are fighting for basic human rights and dignity are akin to some of the worst fascists in America? What can you say other than how dare you? It's despicable. It's disgusting.
And it's amazing to me that she made that point whilst talking to Glenn Beck, who is a religious zealot. Amazing.
Truly. I mean, how can you? I mean, especially when we know that she's spending so much of this time talking about trans people. What do you mean people have made an issue their identity?
Right.
Republicans made trans people's identities an issue. And that's how it went. I don't.
Bernie Hussein Sanders.
It's so shameless. It's so deeply shameless.
I mean,
We're not the
also,
same.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say really quickly, we're not the same if you're just talking about like a small group of people taking fringe issues like their rights as human beings. That's not a fringe issue. And if you're going to be standing on this platform, these kind of people, I expect you to say, well, I don't believe that rights are fringe issues. And I used to think that conservatives, she should spin it around and go, Glenn Beck, I used to think that conservatives were about protecting people's rights and freedoms. Sometimes to like a bad extent with the Second Amendment and how many shootings we have. But like, if we're going to have that, at least be 100% on rights. Why is your party taking so many of them away from people? We're not even we're talking about what people can read, what medicine they can get, what doctors they can go to.
Right.
Why is the right wing doing that? That is what Anna should be doing instead of, you have a bunch of people who are black or trans or queer, and they really care about that for some reason. They should just go.
Exactly, I mean, it's literally giving the old conservative argument that like, oh, I would have no problem with gay people, but they just have to make it their whole personality. Why do they have to make it their whole personality and make everybody uncomfortable? And I call it an old conservative argument, but obviously it still is applicable now because I still hear that like, oh, why do you have to make being gay your whole personality? Maybe because it's fucking awesome. And every day of my life that I get to wake up and be gay and be my authentic self is the best day of my life, regardless of all of the, the oppression and the bigotry. Like, I would still be gay every day rather than go back into the closet. My life is still massively improved, and I want to fight for that for everybody else who isn't there yet and isn't able to fully embrace who they are and live as their authentic selves.
Maybe Rayvana's not in chat anymore. I don't know. Are you actually gay, as it were? I thought you were bisexual at one point, but I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter in a sense, but it's good to know the information so that I don't repeat incorrect things. But it's entirely up to you, and you might not even be listening anymore. You may have popped in, said hello, and then popped out again. That's fine. I do that regularly. You may see me but pop into someone else's chat to say a quick hello, show my face, say hi, and then leave, because I don't have the time to sit there and watch lots of streams, unfortunately. Would that I were. Would that we had 70 hours in a day that I could watch lots and lots of streams in, but we do not. That is not a thing we can do.
Whenever someone lives as their authentic selves, the world becomes a better place. And I want the world to be the best place it possibly can be. So I want everybody to embrace these issues and fight for these issues, because they're not sideline issues. These are the issues facing us. These are human rights, the human rights issues of our time. And history will not look back fondly on the people who were equating it to religious zealotry. I'm sorry, it's true. That's the type of opinion that we should make untenable. I want people to feel embarrassed that they were ever willing to say something like that out loud, because it is disgusting.
And it also just reveals how fundamentally stupid and ignorant Anna Kasparian is, right? Because here, look, this is a message to all the cis women of the world, okay? Trans women are your left foot. Like, I'm sorry, but if I don't have a right to take estrogen, then you don't have a right to wear pants. Right. And there's no way to disentangle those things within the law. There's no way. Fundamentally, if the United States government is allowed to say, no, trans people are not allowed to get gender affirming care, then they are also able to say, well, sorry, women aren't allowed to wear pants anymore. Women aren't allowed to wear pants anymore. Not allowed. If they can do one, then they can do the other. Those things are fundamentally, because I want to touch on this, right? Because it's more than just, oh, I'm going to dress a certain way. It's more than just, oh, like I like she, her pronouns or anything like that. It is fundamentally about the right to choose which sex to live in within your body. That's what it is. That's all of what hormones do. They change your sex, right? So
you're making a very fine point, but I was just scrolling through Twitter, and you can't convince me that these two people are human. You can't. They're clearly lizards. That's from their Christmas card this year. That is grotesque. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know what it is. But I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to see any of this anymore. Begone, foul demons.
For the government to say, you're not allowed to do this, is for them to say, no, it's actually okay for the United States government to force people to stay within a narrow definition of what it means to be within one sex, and to make it against the rules for you to go from one to the other. If they are allowed to set those rules, they are allowed to say women can't have bank accounts, women can't wear pants. There's no way to disentangle those things, right? Because as much as Anna Kasparian would be so deeply upset by this, I am biologically female. That is something I literally changed, okay, through medicine, okay? And if you think that that is one of those things that the government can undo and stop and fully have the right.
So much for the tolerant maximalist left. That's the next segment from TYT.
Okay, to invade my body in that way, then understand that those very same people have already stated that they're coming for you. So you can say, oh, this is a niche issue, but this fundamentally is at the center of the Civil Rights Act.
I mean, we watched the rise of like the modern transphobia come hand in hand with the repealing of abortion rights. So how could anyone not recognize what is happening right before them? How can women throw so many cis women are just like throwing trans women under the bus, but also being dumbfounded by the repealing of women's rights. I mean, these things, it's the same fight. It's all the same fight, and you are willing to throw your sisters under the bus at the expense of these rights that you supposedly hold near and dear to your heart. I mean, you can't. These are not divorceable issues. Like it is exactly the same fight. So yeah, I mean it's just ignorance on display is what it is. and bigotry.
Very much so. Very much so. And on that bombshell, I'm going to leave it for the evening. I was thinking about watching like the first half of the Sean video thing, which we'll definitely have to cut up into at least 2 bits. At the very least. But realistically, it'd probably be 3, because I can't sit through 2 hours of anything. You know what I'm like. You know exactly what I'm all about. It's Luigi time. It's always Luigi time, motherfucker. Shaving a haircut? Definitely not, no. Every time someone in chat mentions that I need to have a shave or a haircut is another week I add on to not having a shave or a haircut. Okay? So far, we are on a 5-year, 6th year nearly, waiting list time now, okay? So carry on, chat. Carry on. I'm going to end up with a stream in a few years. I'm going to end up looking like Cousin It. Just all hair. I'll become a wolf man. Which, honestly, with some of the furry degenerates in chat, they'll probably quite like that, I think. So I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure that will have the deterrent effect I'm hoping it will. You are so lucky you don't watch this show then. Well, fuck you. Fuck you, username identity, and fuck you sideways. Cousin It was cute. What was the one with the hand? What was the hand called? That thing. That was sort of cute as well. But I can't remember what it was called. I'm sure someone in chat will know, because someone in chat always knows. See, I don't know if people in my chat are just really smart or whether they're Googling stuff. Because you always fucking... There you go, Thing. It was called Thing. Thing was cute as well. In a kind of body part way. Does that make sense? I don't fucking know. Anyway, let's go on YouTube. Who are we going over to? Thank you everyone on YouTube for the support and all of that jazz. Let's see who I can raid into there. Who have we got going live? Ironically, the Young Turks are live, but no one cares because fuck those guys. We'll go over to the Vanguard, who I think I talked about, didn't I? Being guys who I didn't always care for back in the day. Not my sort of thing, but do seem pretty decent. So thank you everyone on YouTube. We'll see you possibly tomorrow. And there's everyone on the YouTube. Over to the thingamajig. Yes, and on twitch.tv, who is going? I mean, I don't know if the Vanguard do actually stream on this platform. I certainly don't subscribe to them or follow them if they do. You know what? We'll go over to Ariana Jasmine, who we haven't been over to in a little while. Who is good people and is covering something or other. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening and watching. Thank you so much for all of your support. Like I say, I'll probably be back tomorrow. I don't know. I don't have anything planned necessarily. We'll probably watch some of the Sean video, I think. See if we can get through some of that. And, yeah. Enjoy your weekends, everybody. Stay beautiful. Free Palestine, naturally. And no pass around.